Good afternoon. Yes, thank you. So there is one assignment which I shared with you. That is assignment number 2. I am discussing the answers for that assignment. Okay. So in our last class, we were discussing about 9 subsection 3 and 9 subsection 4. That continuation we will be seeing later, but I gave two assignments. Assignment number 2 already, which was given, related to import of services, that is one, and another assignment which I shared, assignment number 3, is related to exemptions and RCM. Okay, so I am completing the answers for that assignment, and the now like whatever notes related to that, it is there in the Google Drive, and that Google Drive is shared in the description. Okay, that Google Drive is shared in the description of each and every video. You can refer there. So questions along with the answers, so that will be uploaded. Okay, so now, so if you have that information, please take assignment number 2. Please take assignment number 2. So have a look into that. First one, A Limited unregistered imported consultancy services from Messrs. Hilltop Management Consultants Australia for a consideration of $10,000. Whether the said activity constitutes supply, yes or no? Whether the said activity constitutes supply, what is your answer? Is this supply or not a supply? Yes, it is supply. Why it will be supply? Because activity for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business or not, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. So therefore it is import of services for a consideration, import of services for a consideration, import of services for a consideration. Therefore it will become supply under section 71B. So it will become supply under section 71B. Whether it is taxable supply or exempted supply. So import of services related discussion we made, and there I told you, if it is OIDR service, always it is taxable. Is it OIDR service? No. It is other than OIDR service. It is other than OIDAR service, other than OIDR service. And who is the recipient? Importing, A Limited, unregistered. So non-taxable recipient means only 3. Who are the non-taxable recipient? Unregistered individual and trust and government. But A Limited will never come under non-taxable recipient. Other than OIDR service by other than non-taxable recipient. Other than non-taxable recipient, therefore it will be taxable. It will be taxable. Okay, so non-taxable recipient means, who is non-taxable recipient? So non-taxable recipient will be an unregistered. Who is a non-taxable recipient? Unregistered individual. So I'm just writing non-taxable recipient. So who is the non-taxable recipient? 3 parties here. So first, unregistered individual. Number 1, unregistered individual, and then unregistered or registered. Unregistered individual is 1 here. Unregistered individual is 1. And number 2, registered or unregistered. Registered or unregistered trust under section 12AA of Income Tax Act. And number 3, registered or unregistered. Registered or unregistered what? Government. Government. Individual importing for what purpose? Importing for what purpose? Importing for personal purpose. Importing for personal purpose. Then registered or unregistered trust under section 12AA. Importing for what purpose? Importing for charitable activities. Importing for charitable activities. And then government, importing services for other than business or commerce. Importing services for other than business or commerce. So this is the meaning of non-taxable recipient. Okay. So now charitable activities means already we know. So what are the charitable activities? Public health, then education for orphans, prisoners, mentally or physically traumatized persons, or persons over 65 years residing in rural area. Like that, charitable activities already we know. Advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga. Okay. So this already I discussed, but I'm just making you clear as to who is non-taxable recipient. So in this case, it is other than YIDR service by other than non-taxable recipient, therefore it is taxable. Now who will pay GST? So GST will be payable by A Limited. A Limited, who is liable to pay GST? A Limited under RCM. A Limited will pay GST under RCM, but A Limited is unregistered, sir. So they will compulsorily get registered. So whenever there is a recipient who is liable to pay GST, that recipient is compulsorily required to get registered. So compulsory registration under section 24. So they are compulsorily required to register. That is the point. Then second, Mr. A unregistered imported marketing services from Facebook Incorporation USA against $100 for personal purpose. Whether it will become supply? Yes, sir, it will become supply. Why it will become supply? See, in order to become supply, consideration is there, then 7(1)(b) it will come. So same as above. But sir, it is for personal purpose. For 7(1)(b), it may or may not be in the course or furtherance of business, so it will constitute supply under 7(1)(b). Is it taxable supply or exempted supply? What service it is? Sir, it is OIDR service. How marketing through Facebook is a OIDR service? First, is internet required to provide the service? Yes. OIDR service means two conditions. Internet is required to provide the service and that service is automated. Yes. So without internet, the marketing cannot be done and it is automated. Manually, no one is doing. So it is automated once we give the criteria. So what is the age group of the audience and what are the interests, to which people it should be targeted. Like that, once we give the conditions based on that, so it will be automated. So therefore, it is OIDR services. It is OIDR service imported. OIDR service is always taxable, correct or not? OIDR service always taxable. OIDR service is always taxable here. Understood or not? OIDR service is always taxable. There is no exemption with respect to OIDR service. Always it will be taxable. Now, who will pay GST? Who imported it? Mr. A, unregistered, imported for personal purpose. So A is an unregistered person, individual. So importing for personal purpose. Therefore, who will pay? FCM. FCM. Facebook Incorporation will pay. Facebook Incorporation will pay GST under forward charge mechanism. So it's not reverse charge mechanism here. Forward charge mechanism, I will tell you. Because the importer is non-taxable recipient. Here, importer is non-taxable recipient. Is it clear or not? Why importer is non-taxable recipient? Mr. A, individual, unregistered, importing service for personal purpose. So therefore, importer is non-taxable recipient. And therefore, supplier will pay GST under FCM. And whether that supplier also compulsorily required to register? Yes. That supplier is also compulsory registration under section 24. Okay. Then next, number 3. Messrs. Duvel Charitable Trust registered imported Microsoft Incorporation USA OneDrive services for storing its documents for a consideration of $400. Again, it is what? Import of services for a consideration. So it will become supply, same as above. It will become supply under section 7(1)(b), same as above. Now, what service it is? Is it OIDR service? Of course, yes, it is OIDR service. Why it is OIDR service? Because, listen carefully, OneDrive services, Google storage or cloud storage, etc. will be coming under OIDR services. Is it clear or not? Are you understanding? So, cloud storage services will come under OIDR services. So, it is a OIDR service. It is a OIDR service. And OIDR service is taxable or exempted. So OIDR service is always taxable. OIDR service is always taxable. Now who will pay GST? Messrs. Duvel Charitable Trust. It's a charitable trust. Importing services for what purpose? For storing its documents. So charitable trust may or may not be registered. So charitable trust registered or unregistered, importing services for charitable activities. So storing its documents. So definitely for charitable activities. So therefore they will be coming under non-taxable recipient. Yes sir, non-taxable recipient. It will not come under RCM, it will be coming under FCM. I'll tell you why. Because the importer is charitable trust. Charitable trust can be registered or unregistered. So importing services for what purpose? So for storing the documents, charitable activities, therefore it will be coming under non-taxable recipient and it will be FCM. So then who will pay GST? Messrs. Do Well Charitable Trust. Messrs. Do Well Charitable Trust will pay GST under, not Do Well Charitable Trust here. It is Microsoft Incorporation, sorry. FCM na. Microsoft Incorporation will pay GST under FCM and they are compulsorily required to register. So compulsory registration under section 24. Okay. Then number 4. A Limited unregistered imported technical services from its holding company in UK without any consideration. So is the video buffering? For all is the video buffering? Please check. Okay. So A Limited unregistered imported technical services from its holding company in UK without consideration. So why it is not a supply? It will be supplier. Why it will not be supplier? It will definitely supply. 71C. Import of services from a related person or another establishment. Import of services from another establishment. Import of services from another establishment. From another establishment outside India. But here it is import of services from a related person. Okay. Because holding company outside India. Import of services from a related person. Import of services from a related person without consideration. But it should be in the course or furtherance of business. In the course or furtherance of business. In the course or furtherance. In the course or furtherance of business. So this constitutes supply under section 71C. 71C. Okay. Then, sir, as trust was registered, it can pay in RCM also. Now, sir, why it is treated as non-taxable recipient? Because that is the meaning of non-taxable recipient. So, a registered or unregistered trust under section 12A. Okay. Importing for charitable activities. They have specifically given that point as non-taxable recipient due to that reason. Okay. Then, next, see, at CA final level, you will be learning in detail related to that, because in CA final only we have the concept of non-taxable online recipient, etc. So there also you will be learning it. So right now, this is how the law has been made. And what service it is? Technical service other than OIDR service. Other than OIDR service, who imported? Other than OIDR service, who imported? A Limited, unregistered. See, company and all will not come under non-taxable recipient. So, other than OIDR service imported by other than non-taxable recipient. Other than non-taxable recipient. Therefore, it will be taxable. And who will pay GST? Sir, recipient will pay GST, sir. A Limited will pay GST. But A Limited is unregistered. Let them be unregistered. So A Limited will pay GST under RCM and they are compulsorily required to get registered. Compulsory registration under section 24. On what GST will be payable when there is no consideration? See, we need to ascertain the value. We need to ascertain the value as per rules. And that valuation as per rules is there at CA final level, not at CA inter level for you. So usually that will be open market value or the similar value we will take, and on that we will compute the GST payable. Okay. So here, even though there is no consideration, but on that value we will ascertain the value, we will calculate, we will determine the value, and on that value GST will be payable. Okay. So that is this point number 4 here. Then next. So next, look into this. PQR and Company, a partnership firm, has provided services. What services? Cloud services. Cloud services. So will it come under OIDR service? Yes. Cloud services will definitely come under OIDR services. Cloud computing. So cloud computing, for example, Zoho Books, QuickBooks, etc. So that will be coming under OIDR service because it is through internet and it is automated. So definitely it will be coming under OIDR services. And first of all, is it import of service? Yes, for a consideration. It is for a consideration. So therefore, import of services for a consideration. Import of services for a consideration. Import of services for a consideration. So it will become supply under section 7(1)(b). It will become supply under 7(1)(b). And what is this? Sir, is it OIDR service? Yes, OIDR services is always taxable. OIDR services is always taxable. OIDR service is always taxable. Who will pay GST? So, recipient is a partnership firm. Partnership firm will not come under non-taxable recipient. No, they will not come under non-taxable recipient. Other than non-taxable recipient, they will not come under non-taxable recipient here. Partnership firm will not come under non-taxable recipient. So, therefore, that PQR and Co partnership firm will be paying GST under RCM. And sir, they are unregistered. So, they need to compulsorily get registered. Compulsory registration under section 24. Okay. Then next one have a look. Jatin, a proprietor, has received architect services from his house in Punjab from an architect located outside India, New York, and that is for a consideration. So import of services for personal purpose, let it be. It will become supply under 7(1)(b), same as above. It will become supplier. It will become supply under 7(1)(b). And what services it is? So architect service means other than OIDR services. Other than OIDR service imported by whom? Jatin. Sir, when the question is silent, you take that person, if nothing is given, as unregistered. So you take that person as unregistered, and that's the assumption. That's the assumption, okay? So that's the assumption. So when the question is silent, so generally we will take that individual as unregistered person. So therefore, import of services, what services? Other than OIDR services. So is it taxable or exempted? Other than OIDR services. Other than OIDR services by whom? Other than OIDR services by non-taxable recipient. Will they come under non-taxable recipient? Yes. Individual, unregistered, importing service for personal purpose. So it will come under non-taxable recipient. Therefore, it is exempted. Not taxable. It is exempted. Import of other than OIDR services. Import of other than OIDR service by a non-taxable recipient is exempted. So refer to the chart. Okay. So it is exempted. So liability to pay GST shall not arise. Okay. Then number 7. Sir, it is exempted here. Don't make the mistake. It is exempted. That service is exempted. Then next. ABC Associates received technical support service from its head office located in Malaysia. The head office has rendered such services free of cost to its branch office. So free of cost, without consideration. So 7(1)(c) we need to apply. Import of services. See, whether it is supply under 7(1)(b). If not 7(1)(b), we cannot ignore, na? So 7(1)(c) can be applied. It is not import of service as per 7(1)(b), but it may become import of service as per 7(1)(c). Even though the heading of the column says that it is import of, whether it is import of service under 7(1)(b), it is not, but it may become supply under 7(1)(c) also. Okay. Next, so import of services from another establishment, without consideration, it will become supply under section 71C. It will become supply under section 71C. And what is this? So is it taxable or exempted? What service? Technical support services. Again, there is no information as to ABC Associates. No information is there whether they are registered or not. So we will assume it as unregistered person, and that's the assumption that we will take generally. So now ABC Associates, not non-taxable recipient, other than non-taxable recipient. Why? Non-taxable recipient means individual, trust, government. It is not individual, it is not trust, it is not government. So therefore it is other than OIDR services. OIDR services by whom? By other than non-taxable recipient. By other than non-taxable recipient, therefore it is taxable. Then who will pay GST? Sir, other than non-taxable recipient, na? So that ABC Associates will pay GST. ABC Associates will pay GST under RCM, and they are compulsorily required to register. Compulsory registration under section 24. Why FCM here? It is other than OIDR service. Other than, only in case of OIDR services FCM will come. Otherwise it will be RCM. Then number 8. Raman is an e-commerce operator in Chennai. GST registered. His son, who is settled in London, is a well-known lawyer. Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost with regard to family dispute. Is it supply or not a supply? Is it supply or not a supply? Sir, it is not a supply. Why it is not a supply? I'll tell you. Sir, son is always related now. It is not about that. So here, family dispute. Family dispute means not in the course or furtherance of business. That's why. Not in the course or furtherance of business. Not in the course or furtherance. Not in the course or furtherance of business. It is not in the course or furtherance of business due to that reason. Okay. And when it is not a supply, why we should bother about whether it is taxable or exempted and who is liable to pay GST? We don't have to bother about that. Okay. Then next one here. Next one. Raman is an e-commerce operator in Chennai, and his brother is dependent. His brother is dependent or not. His brother who is settled in London. So not dependent. So brother is not dependent. So again it is not a supply. Why it is not a supply? Sir, brother is not dependent on Mr. Raman. Brother is not dependent on Mr. Raman. So only when it is dependent, it will come under related party transaction. So here it is not a related party transaction. So therefore, consequently, it is not a supply, and liability to pay GST shall not arise. Okay. Then last one. State government of Tamil Nadu received legal advice with respect to litigation and paid £1,000 as legal fees to Mr. Anthony of UK, London. So whether it is supply or not a supply? Sir, import of services for a consideration. So import of services for a consideration means it will become supply under section 71B. Import of services for a consideration. Import of services for a consideration constitutes supply. Okay, so therefore it will become supply under section 71B. It will become supply under section 71B. And what, it is what? Imported by whom? Import of services for a consideration State government of Tamil Nadu received legal advice for litigation. See, first of all, is it OIDR service? No, other than OIDR service, okay? Other than OIDR service. Who imported? Government. Sir, government. Yeah, registered or unregistered. Importing for what purpose? Litigation. So litigation, that too where? In outside India, is not related to commerce, business or commerce. Therefore, they will come under non-taxable recipient. They will come under a non-taxable recipient other than OIDR services by non-taxable recipient. By non-taxable recipient. Therefore, it is exempted. Yes, import of services other than OIDR service by non-taxable recipient is exempted. It is exempted. And liability to pay GST shall not arise. Liability to pay GST shall not arise because it is exempted service. Clear? So this is the answers with respect to the assignment, and these answers I will upload in the Google Drive. Okay. So in the Google Drive, you will be finding all daily notes, assignments, and all important information for this fast track batch, whatever I am taking. So all the related notes will be there. However, book will not be there. Book soft copy don't expect from me. Book soft copy I cannot give. So that book soft copy is not possible. So hard copy you can purchase, or through app you can view the soft copy. So that for that you contact our office. Okay. So extremely sorry for that. So book only I can provide. So soft copy of the book I cannot share openly. And this particular assignments and all openly I am sharing in the Google Drive. So you can download it and keep it for reference. Okay. Then thereafter I gave another assignment. Yesterday I did not take class, but I gave an assignment for you to practice. So what is that? Exemptions and RCM. So that assignment, hope you have done. I assume that you have done, and refer to the answers. Refer to the answers if you have done that. So whatever I am discussing as the answers, you please cross check if you have written any answers. Okay, say this. Mr. Atul, so this assignment is with respect to exemptions and RCM, and already I shared the questions, and now I am going to discuss the answers related to this assignment. Mr. Atul is an agent of life insurance company. The insurance company pays commission excluding tax 6 lakhs to him. Is it taxable or exempted? We need to understand. Insurance agent services provided in rural area is only exempted. Insurance agent providing services in rural area, whatever commission received is exempted. Is there any information given here that it is a rural area or urban area? No. So therefore, we will assume that it is urban area. Assumed to be urban area. When there is no information, so definitely you will be taking it as urban area, because rural area means specifically it will be given. Assumed to be urban area. Assumed to be urban area. Therefore, it will be taxable. Therefore, it will be taxable. We don't have any exemption with respect to this. It is urban area. Only for rural area it is exempted. And who is liable to pay GST? So we have this. Salets, agents. That is insurance agent to insurance company. So it will be coming under RCM. So who is liable to pay GST? Insurance company. Insurance company is liable to pay GST under RCM. Insurance company is liable to pay GST under RCM. Then next, temporary transfer of copyright pertaining to music composed by Mr. A.R. Rahman, registered person, to Arise Private Limited, a registered production company. Temporary transfer of IPR related to music, we don't have any exemption. So this will be taxable. This will be taxable. We don't have any exemption with respect to this. And who is liable to pay GST in this case? So, temporary transfer of copyright services in relation to music, liability to pay GST is on the recipient. That is that music company, Arise Private Limited, under RCM. Arise Private Limited is liable to pay GST under RCM. It comes under C, copyright services. Copyright service in relation to musical works. Okay. Then, services provided by Mr. Sham, a recovery agent to HDFC Bank against commission of 40,000. But the recovery agent services is exempted. We don't have any exemption with respect to recovery agent services. So recovery agent service is taxable. And who is liable to pay GST? Liability to pay GST is on the bank, RCM. Recovery agent services to bank or financial institution, it will be coming under RCM. Then next, number 4. Temporary transfer of copyright on 5/10/2020 pertaining to a book authored by Mr. Tarun Raj, registered person, to Taxman Publications Private Limited, registered publisher. Mr. Tarun Raj wanted to avail ITC with respect to inward supplies made by him. So copyright related to original literary, it will be taxable. Copyright related to original literary, it will be taxable. And who is liable to pay GST? So there are two options, FCM and RCM. But clearly it is given that Mr. Tarun Raj wanted to avail ITC. On inward supplies, which means that it will be FCM. So supplier will pay GST under FCM. That is Mr. Tarun Raj under FCM because they want to avail ITC. That is the key. Because of that reason, the other option is not applicable. Services provided by Mr. Mohan, a business facilitator to Bank of Baroda for its rural branch. Rural branch is exempted. Rural branch is exempted. Okay, business facilitator service or business correspondent service, or agent of business facilitator to business facilitator, agent of business correspondent to business correspondent in rural area branch is exempted. Fully it is exempted. So therefore liability to pay GST shall not arise. It is exempted due to that reason. Then number 6. Messrs. Surya Travels, registered person, has given on hire an electric car to MRF Limited, registered person, for 20 days. Okay. Messrs. Surya Travels raises invoice on MRF Limited to pay GST at 12%. See, renting of motor vehicles, this case it is not exempted. So electric cars, sir, electric car we have an exemption. No, electric car exemption is not applicable in this case. Electric car given on rent to local authority is only exempted. Electric car given on rent to a local authority is only exempted. Here electric car is not given on rent to a local authority. So due to that reason it will be taxable. Electric car, that too having a capacity more than 12 passengers, given on rent to a local authority is only exempted. So therefore that is not applicable here. Therefore it is taxable. And who is liable to pay GST? Liability to pay GST is on the recipient. Who is the recipient here? So recipient, no sir, 3 conditions should be satisfied. Supplier should be other than body corporate. In this case, supplier is other than body corporate. And recipient should be body corporate. Yes, recipient is body corporate. But the rate of GST should be 5%. But here the rate of GST is 12%. Therefore, it will be FCM only. It will be FCM only. RCM will not come. So Messrs. Surya Travels will pay GST under FCM. Reason also you write. Rate of GST. See, reason also you write here. Rate of GST. 1 second. So rate of GST is how much? Rate of GST is not 5%. That's why. Rate of GST is not 5%. Rate of GST is not 5%. Otherwise it would have been RCM. Then next one here. 7. Messrs. Vijay Travels, registered person, has given on hire a tempo traveler to Swami Associates, registered attorney firm. Messrs. Vijay Travels raises invoice on Swami Associates for 5%. Sir, we don't have any exemption in this regard. Therefore, it will be taxable. Yes. So this renting is not exempted. It will be taxable. Now, FCM or RCM, we need to check. Supplier is other than body corporate. Recipient should be body corporate, but recipient is also body corporate. Recipient is also other than body corporate. Actually, recipient should have been body corporate. So it will be coming under FCM. Messrs. Vijay Travels will pay GST under FCM. Why RCM not applicable? Because recipient is not body corporate. Swami Associates firm. Recipient recipient is not body corporate. Due to that reason, RCM will not come. Then next, 8th point. Zoom Cars Private Limited, a registered person has given a car on hire to XYZ Limited. A registered person, Zoom Cars Private Limited, has opted to pay GST at 5%. So again, we don't have any exemption in this regard. So it will be taxable here. It will be taxable. We don't have any exemption in this regard. It will be taxable. And who is liable to pay GST? Supplier should be other than body corporate. But here supplier is body corporate. So RCM will not come. RCM will not come. It is again FCM only. So Zoom Cars Private Limited under FCM. Zoom Cars Private Limited under FCM. And what about the recipient? Is recipient liable to pay, like why it will not be coming under RCM? Because supplier is body corporate. Supplier is body corporate. Actually, supplier should be other than body corporate. Then Innovate Private Limited paid 50 lakhs as sponsorship money to an event organized by IPL. So sponsorship to IPL, is it a recognized sporting event? No, unrecognized sporting event. Therefore, it will be taxable. This sponsorship money will be taxable. And who is liable to pay GST? In case of sponsorship service which is taxable, is the recipient body corporate or firm? Yes, recipient is body corporate. Therefore, it will be coming under RCM. Sponsorship service will be coming under RCM if the recipient is body corporate or firm. So here recipient is body corporate, Innovate Private Limited. So it will be coming under RCM. Okay. Then number 10. Measures Ganesh Travels, a registered person, has given a tempo traveler on hire to ABC Limited. A registered person, Measures Ganesh Travels, has opted to pay GST at 5%. Do we have any exemption with respect to this? No. So it will be taxable. We don't have any exemption with respect to this. Then who is liable to pay GST? Is supplier other than body corporate? Yes. And recipient is body corporate? Yes. And the rate of GST is 5%? Yes. So all three conditions are satisfied. So therefore, it will be coming under RCM. Yes. So ABC Limited will be liable to pay GST under RCM. ABC Limited will be liable to pay GST under RCM. All conditions, all three conditions satisfied. All three conditions satisfied. So therefore, it will be coming under RCM. Then, Measures Suraj Travels, a registered person, has given a bus on hire to PCAR Limited, a registered person. Measures Suraj Travels has opted to pay GST at 12%. So now, in this case, is it taxable or exempted? Sir, given on hire. Bus is given on hire. A registered person has given a bus on hire to PCAR Limited. Bus given on hire to a state road transport corporation is only exempted. But here it is taxable. Only to a state road transport corporation is exempted. But here it will be taxable. Now, supplier is other than body corporate. Recipient is body corporate. But the rate is 12%. So that's why it will be coming under FCM. Measure Suraj Travels will pay GST under FCM because the recipient is, the rate of GST is not 5%. Rate of GST is not 5%. Rate of GST is not 5% due to that reason. Next. Measures ABC Security Agency, a registered partnership firm, has provided security services to Measures Future Limited. Measures Future Limited is not registered under GST as their aggregate turnover has not exceeded the threshold limit. Security agency service, we don't have any exemption. So security agency service will be taxable. Security agency service will be taxable. We don't have any exemption. Now, who will pay GST? So now, see whether the recipient is registered. So recipient is not registered. So when the recipient is not registered, it will be coming under FCM only. Recipient is not registered. So therefore, Measures ABC Security Agency, Measures ABC Security Agency will pay GST under FCM. Measures ABC Security Agency will pay GST under FCM. And what will be the rate of GST? The rate of GST, sir, that is irrelevant, sir. Why it will be FCM? Why it will be FCM? Simple reason, recipient is not registered. Recipient is not registered due to that reason. Then next, number 13, Messrs. High Alert Security Agency, a sole proprietorship firm, provided security agency service to Messrs. Betfishers registered, who is opting for composition scheme. We have any exemption in this regard? No. It will be taxable. And who will pay GST in this case? FCM again. Why FCM? Sir, because even though recipient is registered, but they are opting for composition scheme. Due to that reason, Messrs. High Alert Security Agency. Messrs. High Alert Security Agency, this will be coming under FCM. And Messrs. High Alert Security Agency will be liable to pay GST under FCM. And why? Recipient, even though registered, not opting for composition scheme. Recipient, even though registered, not opting for composition scheme. Opting for composition scheme due to that reason. Opting for composition scheme. So due to that reason. Okay. Then next, number 14. X is a senior advocate in Bombay High Court. Ford Limited has approached X, senior advocate, to provide legal assistance in relation to litigation. Now, senior advocate providing services to Ford Limited, business entity. Definitely Ford Limited turnover during the previous year exceed threshold limit for registration. Ford Limited, it's a manufacturer of automobiles. So definitely turnover would have exceeded. Therefore, it will be taxable. The said service is taxable. And once advocate service is taxable, who will pay GST? Recipient will pay GST. Who is the recipient here? Ford Limited. So Ford Limited will pay GST under RCM. Ford Limited will pay GST under RCM. Okay. Ford Limited will pay GST under RCM. Then next. Number 15. Mr. Manoj is an advocate who provided services to B Limited, whose turnover during previous year is 800 lakhs. Sir, advocate service to business entity whose turnover during the previous year exceed threshold limit. It will be taxable. And once it is taxable, liability to pay GST is on recipient B Limited under RCM. See, B Limited's aggregate turnover during previous year exceed the threshold limit for registration. For that reason, taxable. Next, sir, in RCM, recipient is liable to pay GST. If recipient is unregistered, then what is the treatment? Recipient is compulsorily required to get registered. Recipient is compulsorily required to get registered at any cost. Okay. Once the recipient is liable to pay GST under RCM, compulsory registration is applicable. Then 16. XYZ Limited availed service of Vimal Goods Transport Agency for transportation of goods by road from factory located in Delhi to its Jaipur depot and paid freight of 1 lakh. So whether we have any exemption with respect to GTS service? No, because the freight is 1 lakh. So definitely it will be taxable. We don't have any exemption in this regard. It will be taxable. Then who will pay GST? There are two options. Option number 1, GTA can pay. Okay, GTA can pay. Option number 1, GTA can pay, and that will be coming under FCM. Or option 2. So who will pay GST? XYZ Limited will pay GST under RCM. If GTA pays GST under FCM, the rate of GST will be at 12%. If XYZ Limited pays GST under RCM, the rate of GST will be at the rate of 5%. Okay. So 5% will be the rate of GST. Then number 17. Sir, in question number 12, why recipient is not required to get registered? Question number 12. Sir, recipient is not registered. That's why it is FCM. First of all, RCM itself is not applicable here. When RCM is applicable? RCM is applicable. What does Securities Agency Service say? Security Agency Service, provided conditions are satisfied. What are they? Supplier is other than body corporate. Recipient is registered. Then only RCM will come. So that's how it is given as a condition. But here, recipient is not registered. So RCM will not come. So it will be FCM. Okay. So because the condition itself is given that only when recipient is registered, it will come under RCM. Not all cases for that security agency. Then Ranka Jewellers Limited paid 50 lakhs for sponsorship of Miss India beauty pageant for sponsorship services. Sir, Miss India beauty pageant. So we don't have any exemption. So that will be taxable. That will be taxable. And the recipient is body corporate. So therefore recipient is liable to pay GST. Ranka Jewellers Limited is liable to pay GST under RCM. Then service provided by Mr. Joseph in the capacity of Managing Director to ABC Private Limited. Director providing services in the capacity of Managing Director. Now, we don't know whether it is excluded from supply or not. So we have two cases here. We have two cases here. What are those two cases? That is, if that amount is chargeable to TDS, if that amount is chargeable to TDS under section 192 of Income Tax Act, then it will be exempted. If that amount whatever is paid, excluded from supply, not a supply. Not a supply. Not a supply. Okay, it will be not a supply. Suppose if it is deductible for TDS under section 194J. TDS under section 194J, then will it become supply? Yes, it will become supply. TDS under section 194J, it will become supply. TDS under section 192, it is not a supply. Then who will be liable to pay GST? Sir, why GST will come when it is not a supply? If it is TDS under section 194J, it will be supply. And who will be liable to pay GST? Once it becomes supply, company will pay GST. That is, ABC Private Limited will pay GST under RCM. Then, Mr. Batra is an arbitrator and he provides service to Mr. Save Nature Government Agency, whose turnover during previous year is 400 lakhs. Sir, advocate services provided to government agency is exempted. Advertisement services provided to government agency is exempted. Yes. And therefore liability to pay GST shall not arise. Liability to pay GST shall not arise. Then number 20. Sir, Ranka Jewellers sponsored. No, so recipient is Miss India beauty pageant. No, in sponsorship services, the one who pays sponsorship money is the recipient. In sponsorship services, one who pays the sponsorship money is the recipient. If you see, Ranka Jewellers paid 50 lakhs, so they are only recipient because only recipient will make the payment in sponsorships. Okay, so therefore recipient in this case is Ranka Jewellers Limited. Don't get confused. Infrastructural support service provided by government to business entity whose turnover during previous year exceed the threshold limit. So services provided by government to business entity. What service? Infrastructural support service whose turnover during the previous year exceed the threshold limit. Then it will be taxable. Then it will be taxable. Suppose if it does not exceed threshold limit, then it will have been exempted. It is taxable. And who will pay GST? That business entity will pay GST under RCM. That business entity will pay GST under RCM. Then renting of immobile property services provided by government to business entity unregistered during previous year means aggregate turnover would not have exceeded threshold limit. But even then it will be taxable because that exemption is not applicable in case of renting of immobile property. Generally, services provided by government to business entity, if that business entity's turnover during the previous year does not exceed threshold limit, is exempted. But this exemption is not applicable in case of renting of immovable property services due to that reason. Okay, so it will not be applicable in case of renting of immovable property services, and it will be taxable. And who will be liable to pay GST in this case? The liability to pay GST in this case is on the recipient or not. Sir, recipient, no, supplier, government only. Why? See, in case of immovable property services, if the recipient is unregistered, then supplier only will pay GST. If the recipient is registered, then only recipient will pay. But any other service other than renting of immovable property service, any other service, so even if recipient is registered or unregistered, recipient only will pay. See, these are all the important questions. So definitely it will be tested in exam. Trust me. So be careful with respect to the discussion whatever we have made. We discussed this point. So therefore in this case, government will pay GST under FCM. Government will pay GST under FCM. Department of Police Tamil Nadu provided security services to measure Taj Group of Hotels whose turnover during previous year exceed the threshold limit and the charges is 20,000. So definitely it will be taxable. Why? So security services to Taj Group of Hotels. Government has provided services to business entity whose turnover during previous year exceed threshold limit. It will be taxable. Then who will pay GST? Recipient will pay GST. That is Messrs. Taj Group of Hotels. Taj Group of Hotels will pay GST under RCM. Under RCM. Then 23. Services provided by an arbitral tribunal to any business entity whose aggregate turnover during previous year exceed threshold limit, taxable. Arbitral tribunal to a business entity whose turnover during previous year exceed threshold limit, it will be taxable. Then who will pay GST? Business entity will pay GST under RCM. Business entity will pay GST under RCM. Then 24. Mr. Arvind, a senior advocate, provided to firm of advocates who in turn provide service to central government. Now here central government will be treated as recipient. So whenever services are provided by senior advocate to firm of advocates or individual advocate, we need to deem the ultimate litigant or applicant or petitioner as the recipient. So deemed recipient. Who is the deemed recipient here? Central government is the deemed recipient. And we all know that advocate services provided to central government is exempted. Sir, why are we taking recipient as central government? That's how it is given. So you should not take the another advocate or firm of advocate as the recipient. We need to take the ultimate litigant or applicant or petitioner as the recipient. And once it is exempted, the liability to pay GST shall not arise. Okay. Then Yes Bank, located in Nagpur, appointed Mr. Mahesh as a recovery agent for collecting outstanding balance amount of loan from one of its customers. Mr. Mahesh provides service to Yes Bank for which it charged a fee. So now recovery agent service is taxable. We don't have any exemption with respect to recovery agent service. It will be taxable. Recovery agent service is taxable. And who will pay GST in this case? Mr. Mahesh provides service to Yes Bank for which it charged a fee. So therefore liability to pay GST is on Yes Bank. Correct or not? Under RCM. Yes Bank is liable to pay GST under RCM. Then 26. Chetan Bhagat, unregistered under GST, a renowned writer and author of 2 states, transferred the copyright of his published book 2 states to Balaji Telefilm Productions Limited for a consideration. Now, generally author, when he gives copyright to the publisher, we don't have any exemption in this regard. It will be taxable. It will be taxable. And Chetan Bhagat is unregistered. So definitely option 1 is not possible. Option 2 only. So publisher. Who is the publisher here? No. They are giving it to Balaji Telefilm Production. So recipient is Balaji Telefilm Production. They will pay GST. Balaji Telefilm Balaji Telefilm Productions will pay GST under RCM. Then Mr. Santosh received 40 lakhs as consideration for transfer of development rights related to promoter. Sir, transfer of development rights to a promoter is taxable. And who will be liable to pay GST? Promoter is liable to pay GST under RCM. Promoter will be paying GST under RCM with respect to TDR, FSI and long-term lease. Mr. Ramana, a clearing and forwarding agent, rendered service to Messrs. Lift Limited. Clearing and forwarding agent. We have any exemption? No, sir. It will be taxable. Then who will be liable to pay GST? It is not under RCM. Only 5 agents are covered under RCM. This clearing and forwarding agent is not covered under RCM. Therefore, it is FCM only. So who will pay GST? Mr. Ramana only will pay GST. Mr. Ramana only will pay GST under FCM. Then 29. APJ Security Services Private Limited, unregistered, provided security services to Brinery Limited, which is registered. Sir, security agency services provided to recipient who is registered. Security agency service provided to a person who is registered. So will be coming under RCM. So it will be taxable and recipient will pay GST. Who is the recipient? Brinery Limited. So Brinery Limited will pay GST under RCM because recipient is registered na. Once recipient is registered, they will pay. That's what security agency service is. Supplier should be, but sir, wait. It is wrong. Why it is wrong? I'll tell you. Like this we should not think. Why we should not think this way? Sir, for security agency service, there are 2 conditions. Supplier should be other than body corporate, but here supplier is body corporate. So that's why it will not be coming under RCM. It will be coming under FCM. APJ Security Services under FCM. Why, sir, FCM? Because the supplier is body corporate. Supplier should be other than body corporate. But here, supplier is body corporate. Then it will not come under RCM. Okay. Then, Messrs. ABC Road Lines at GTA provided services to a partnership firm for transportation of organic manure. Transportation of organic manure in a GTA. Organic manure will come under notified goods. Therefore, it is exempted. Transportation of organic manure is exempted and liability to pay GST shall not arise as the service is exempted. Okay. So, this is with respect to, these 30 situations under exemptions and RCM. Okay. Fine. So we have completed these 30 situations and I don't know whether you guys have already tried it. If you have tried it, then you can cross check with respect to the answers. Okay. Next, all are correct. Good. Then we will be moving on to the next area. So the next area is 9 subsection 5. In our last class, we completed up to 9 subsection 4 and I gave an illustration on 9 subsection 4 also. Now we are going to discuss 9 subsection 5. What is this 9 subsection 5 is all about? 9 subsection 5 says that there are 3 notified services. With respect to the 3 notified services which are provided through e-commerce operator, liability to pay GST to government is on the e-commerce operator but not on the supplier or recipient. Okay. So there is a supplier, there is a e-commerce operator and there is a recipient. And there are some notified services which are supplied through e-commerce operator. Liability to pay GST is on the e-commerce operator. What are those notified services? You can remember that with a keyword HAT, housekeeping services, accommodation service and transportation of passenger service. So remember with a keyword HAT. H for housekeeping, A for accommodation, T for transportation of passengers, not goods. transportation of passengers. Example for housekeeping service, e-commerce operator, Urban Clap. And example for accommodation service, Oyo Rooms, GoIBibo, etc. That will be coming under, accommodation services. And then next, transportation of passengers by radio taxi, motor cab, maxi cab, motorcycle. So who will come? Ola, Uber and Rapido will come into that case. Okay, 3 notified services. Again I am repeating. So there are 3 notified services which are supplied through e-commerce operator to the recipient. On these services, whatever money that is collected, liability to pay GST is not on the supplier but on the e-commerce operator. What are those 3 notified services? HAT, housekeeping services, accommodation services and transportation of passenger service. Okay, transportation of passengers by what? By radio taxi, motor cab, maxi cab, motorcycle. That is this. That's it. So who will pay GST on the transaction? E-commerce operator will pay GST to government. Now, whether that e-commerce operator is required to register? Yes. Wherever e-commerce operator is liable to pay GST, they should register. Sir, see this, section 9 subsection 5. Is the person? Yes. And is supply through e-commerce operator. So there is some missing information here. Sorry, this chart, some missing information is there. Is the person taxable? Is the person taxable? Is the person taxable? Is supply through e-commerce operator? Is supply through e-commerce operator? No. And is supply notified under 9 subsection 5? So while making the chart, so there are some this information got missed. I don't know why. Sorry for that. So first, is the person taxable? Yes. Is the supply through e-commerce operator? Yes. Is the supply notified under 9 subsection 5? Yes. Then e-commerce operator will pay GST. Suppose if the person is not taxable, or if the supply is not through e-commerce operator, or if the supply is not notified under 9 subsection 5, so we will not be getting any e-commerce operator liability. So all the provisions of this act shall apply to e-commerce operator as if he is the supplier liable to pay tax, which means all the provisions. So e-commerce operator will be considered as a supplier. He will only pay GST. Now, does e-commerce operator has a physical presence in India? Yes. Then e-commerce operator will be registering and paying tax. What if they don't have a physical presence? Is supply made through e-commerce operator? Is supplied through e-commerce operator. Okay. Now, so suppose e-commerce operator is not having a physical presence in the taxable territory in India. Then is there any representative of that e-commerce operator? Yes. For example, Uber you take. Uber is a entity which is operating outside India and they don't have physical presence in India, but they have a representative in India, and that representative will be liable to pay. That representative who is in India will be liable to register and pay GST. What if they don't have a physical presence? They don't have a representative in India. Then such e-commerce operator shall appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of paying tax, and such person shall be liable to pay GST. Shall be liable to pay, liable to register and pay GST. Liable to register and pay GST. Okay. Such e-commerce operator shall appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of paying tax, and such person shall be liable to register and pay tax. Got it? So first, e-commerce operator has a physical presence. Yes, they will register and pay. No. Is there a representative? No. Then they should appoint a representative. Simple. Now let's see the registration requirements. So this is about registration requirements. What is that? when e-commerce operator is liable to pay GST under 9(5) with respect to this notified service, they are not required to deduct TCS. There is a concept called as tax deducted at source that is not applicable for CA inter exam, that is applicable for CA final exam. Just remember that point. What is that? So whenever e-commerce operator is liable to pay GST, they are not required to deduct TCS. Just that much you remember enough. And in case of notified service only, e-commerce operator will pay GST. In other cases, who will pay GST? Supplier will pay GST. For example, I am a seller who is selling some goods through Amazon. Is it supply through e-commerce operator? Yes. Is it supply of notified service through e-commerce operator? No. I am supplying goods. So therefore, liability to pay GST is not on e-commerce operator Amazon, on me only. Next, there is a restaurant. That restaurant is supplying food through Swiggy or Zomato. Now, is it supplied through e-commerce operator? Yes. But is it notified service? No, it is not a notified service. Then who will pay GST? The restaurant only should pay GST. You understood? Only in case of pre-notified service, e-commerce operator will pay. In all other cases, the supplier only will pay. Then, number 3, every e-commerce operator who is liable to pay GST or liable to deduct TCS is compulsorily required to get registered. So e-commerce operator, whatever may be their threshold limit, if they are liable to pay GST or if they are liable to deduct TCS, they should compulsorily register. Okay. Then also every supplier of goods through e-commerce operator. So I am supplying goods through e-commerce operator, Amazon, Flipkart, etc. So that supplier of goods through e-commerce operator is compulsorily required to register. But supplier of service, see the next point. Supplier of service, either notified service or other than notified service, they need to register only when the aggregate turnover exceeds threshold limit. But the compulsory registration is applicable for supplier of goods through e-commerce operator. For supplier of services through e-commerce operator, compulsory registration is not there. They should register only when the aggregate turnover exceeds threshold limit. So these 5 points is mainly useful for MCQs. In MCQs, they will be testing this. Okay. So with this, we completed liability to pay GST. Liability to pay GST we have completed here. Then, sir, supply of taxable goods alone or any goods? Any goods. Supply of any goods through e-commerce operator, compulsory registration. Supply of taxable goods or exempted goods, whatever it is. Every supplier of goods. So this word taxable you please remove. So this 4th point, supply of taxable goods need not be. So supply of goods, every supplier of goods through e-commerce operator is compulsorily required to register. It's not taxable. Okay. Every supplier of goods through e-commerce operator, let it be taxable goods or exempted goods. For example, books are exempted. But if books are sold through e-commerce operator, even then I should register. Why, sir? Compulsory registration. Irrespective of the threshold limit, let the goods be taxable goods or exempted goods. Okay. Then next, look into the concept block number 5, value of supply. Only one section, and definitely it will be asked in exam, an important area. Every attempt, one question is guaranteed for 6 marks on value of supply. So that much important topic it is. So what is that value of supply? That is, section 15 deals with value of supply. Why value of supply is relevant or why it is important? Only when we know the value of supply, we can multiply the rate on that and we can compute the GST payable. So therefore, due to that reason, we need to know what is the value, and on that we will multiply the rate, and that's how the GST will be computed. So value of supply plays a key role in computation of GST payable. And this value of supply is given under section 15. Only one section, I told you, 15. And what we are discussing now is 15 subsection 1. Section 15 subsection 1 and 15 subsection 2, meaning and inclusions we are going to discuss. 15 subsection 1 deals with meaning, 15 subsection 2 deals with inclusions, and 15 subsection 3 deals with exclusions from the value. Okay. Now, what does 15 subsection 1 says? 15 subsection 1 says that value is transaction value. 15 subsection 1 says value equals to transaction value. I am just writing it. Okay. So for you to understand here, so that for just to maintain the concentration, I'm just writing these notes, okay? Have a look into this. So what we are discussing, section 15, which deals with value of supply, okay? And as per section 15, value of supply, so we have few subsections. So first, 15 subsection 1, what does it says? 15 subsection 1 says, section 15 subsection 1 deals with means. Value means what? Value of supply means what? Value of supply means transaction value. Value of supply means what? Transaction value. What is the meaning of transaction value? Transaction value means price involved in the transaction, that is price actually paid or payable. So what is the meaning of transaction value? Price. So every transaction there is a price, na? That price actually paid, or payable. Price actually paid or payable will be taken as a transaction value, provided two conditions are satisfied. What are those two conditions? We have two conditions here. So transaction value, again I am repeating, section 15 subsection 1 says value means transaction value. What is transaction value? Price actually paid or payable. By whom? By the recipient. Means from supplier point of view, if you need to say price received or receivable. Price received or receivable, okay? And two conditions are satisfied. What are the two conditions? So two conditions must be satisfied, then only it will be applicable. So condition number 1, supplier and recipient are not related. So there are two conditions. Condition number 1, supplier and recipient are not related. Supplier and recipient are not related, okay? Supplier and recipient are not related. So when they are related, so 9 points we have discussed. Such persons are officers or directors of one another's business. They are legally recognized partners of a firm, and their employer and employee, one person directly or indirectly holds, controls or owns 25% or more of the outstanding voting stock or shares of both of them, and one person directly or indirectly controls the other, and together they control a third person, or they are under the common control of a third person. They are members of the same family. So family means spouse and children, whether or not dependent, brothers, sisters, parents and grandparents if they are wholly and mainly dependent. And last point, sole selling agent, okay? So therefore these are the relations. So if they are related, transaction value not applicable. So supplier and recipient should not be related, and price must be the sole consideration. Means what? Apart from price, no other consideration should be received. Price must be the sole consideration. Apart from price, no other consideration should be received. If these two conditions are satisfied, then only value will be transaction value, okay? That is given in 15 subsection 1 meaning. Now 15 subsection 2 deals with inclusions. 15 subsection 2 deal with inclusions in the value. Section 15 subsection 2 inclusions. Section 15 subsection 2 deals with inclusions, okay? So what are the various inclusions? We have 15 subsection 2 clause A, that is taxes, duties and cess by whatever name called other than GST will be included in the value. Taxes, duties and cess other than GST group. Will be included in the value, okay? Taxes, duties and cess other than GST group will be included in the value. Let's take some illustrations to understand this. Illustration 1. See, I am going to give you some illustrations because this chapter is mostly practical chapter. Okay, this value of supply is mostly practical chapter, and we will be getting lot of questions, problematic questions only. So not like case study based questions, not comment based questions. So practical questions that involves computation. So that will be asked. That's why we are discussing in the form of illustrations. Okay. So illustration 1. Now you need to try the answers for this, okay? Now listen carefully. A movie ticket is priced at rupees 150. Entertainment tax payable at the rate of 10% and GST payable at the rate of 28%. Compute value of supply and GST payable. Come on. Compute value of supply and GST payable. Can you calculate? Compute value of supply and GST payable. Can you calculate here? So what will be taken as a value of supply and GST payable? First, what is transaction value? Price involved in the transaction. So take the price. What is that price? 150. Okay. Then inclusions. What is the inclusion that we have seen? While determining the value, all taxes other than GST should be included. So entertainment tax should be included. Entertainment tax should be included. What is that entertainment tax? 150 into 10%, that equals to 15 rupees will be included. So usually that entertainment tax is calculated on the price. Now this will be taken as the value of supply. This will be taken as value of supply. Very good here. So many students have given the answer correctly, 165. So value of supply is 165. And what will be the GST payable? What will be the GST payable? Sir, GST payable will be 165 into 28%, that equals to. So 165 into 28%. So 46.2 rupees, 46.2. Now, why are we calculating it on an exclusive basis? Unless otherwise specified, when the question is silent, take the value as exclusive of GST. Okay. So note, when the question is silent, assume the given values as exclusive of GST. The given values as exclusive of GST. Okay. So no, total value is not 211.2. That is not total value. That is invoice value. Invoice value. Value means excluding GST. Value of supply means excluding GST. Okay. That is invoice value. That's a different thing. But this is how you need to show. Got it? This is with respect to illustration 1. Now I'll give you another illustration. Why are we including entertainment tax? Because of section 15 subsection 2 clause A. Correct? Why are we including entertainment tax? Because of section 15 subsection 2 clause A. Because all taxes, duties and cess by whatever name called other than GST should be included. That's why. Say this. So illustration 2 we are discussing. What is that illustration 2 about? First, there is a supplier who is a car dealer. Okay. So MG Motors Chennai, a car dealer sold SUV at rupees 10,80,000 inclusive of 10,80,000 excluding GST at 18%, excluding GST at 18%, and charged TCS at the rate of 2% on 10,80,000. Okay. Compute value of supply and GST payable. Compute value of supply and GST payable. Come on, try. Compute value of supply and GST payable. What will be the value of supply and GST payable on this? First, we need to take the price. What is the price? 10,80,000. 10,80,000. Should we add TCS? TCS under what? TCS under Income Tax Act here. This is TCS at the rate of 2% under Income Tax Act. Under Income Tax Act 1961. Under Income Tax Act 1961. So whether the TCS should be included in the value is the question. So TCS at the rate of 2%. Will it be included in the value? No, it will not be included in the value as per CBIC circular. As per CBIC circular, it will not be included in value. As per CBIC circular, it will not be included in the value. Why it will not be included in the value? Because TCS is not a tax. TCS is an interim levy, not having the characteristics of a tax. Therefore, it will not be included in the value. Got it? TCS is not a tax. It is an interim levy. TCS is not a tax. TCS is not a tax. It is an interim levy. And it will not be considered as a tax. That's why it will not be included. So the value of supply will be only 10,80,000. The value of supply will only be 10,80,000. Okay. So that will be taken as the value of supply. So value of supply will be 10,80,000. And what will be the GST that is payable? GST payable will be 10,80,000 into 10,80,000 into 18%. 18%. So 10,80,000 into 18% is 1,94,400 will be taken as the GST that is payable. You understood this here? Now another illustration. All these are related to taxes only. Okay. Now another illustration we are discussing. Illustration 3. What is this about? Say there is a landowner. Mr. Shyam is a property owner. Who rented his commercial complex to Messrs. Swagat Private Limited. Who rented his commercial complex to Swagat Private Limited for a monthly rent of rupees 4 lakhs. For a monthly rent of rupees 4 lakhs. During a month, property tax of rupees 80,000 is paid by Mr. Shyam and did not recover from tenant. What is the value of supply for that month and what is the value of supply What is the value of supply for that month? And compute GST payable. And compute GST payable if value is inclusive of GST at 18%. So calculate that here. So what will be taken as the value here? So here, listen. Sir, property tax is not charged. When property tax is not charged, it will not be included in the value. Got it? When property tax is not charged, it will not be included in the value. Only when it is charged, it will be included in the value. So what will be taken as the price? What will be taken as the price? The price is 4 lakhs. And whether property tax to be included? No. Why property tax is not required to be included? Property tax will not be included. Why property tax will not be included? Because it is not charged to recipient. Not charged to recipient. Because it is not charged to recipient, it will not be included. Okay, not charged to recipient due to that reason. And then what will be taken as the value? This is value inclusive of GST. Value inclusive of GST is 4 lakhs. Now we need to take out GST minus GST. How will you calculate GST when it is on inclusive basis? 4 lakhs into 18 by 118. 4 lakhs into 18 by 118. 4 lakhs into 18 divided by 118. So that comes to 61,017. This will be the GST. So balance will be the value. Balance will be the value of supply. Okay. Because value of supply excludes GST na. Balance will be the value of supply. So 4 lakhs minus 61,017 will come to 3,38,983. 3,38,983. This is the correct way of arriving at the answer. So why property tax is not included? Why 15(1)(a) is not applicable? Because only when you charge it to the customer, it should be included in the value, or when you charge it to the recipient, it should be included in the value. Otherwise, it is not required to be included in the value. So these three illustrations will give the clarity related to this inclusion first point, that is taxes, duties and cess other than GST group will be included in the value. Then next one here. So total invoice price is 4,61,017. No. This is minus. The total invoice price is only 3,30,000. Sorry, value is 3,38,983, and the total collected is only 4 lakhs, because that 4 lakhs is inclusive of GST. That 4 lakhs is inclusive of GST. Okay, due to that reason. Then the next point is supplier has to make a payment, but which is paid by the recipient. Supplier's liability met by the recipient. Is it clear? Supplier's liability met by the recipient. Supplier's liability met by recipient. So what does it mean? Supplier's liability met by recipient. What does it mean? It means that supplier has to make some payment, but which is paid by the recipient. So actually it is an indirect consideration to the supplier. So that should be included in the value. So 1 second here, there is some power cut.